So can everyone say a quick hello?
Hello.
Okay, you can be heard, I can be heard. So, hello there, everyone watching out there in internet land, wherever you are around the world. It is another evening in the Extreme Improv XStreamed World Championship Festival 2020. So, we have another exciting evening of improv-related programming for you. In an hour's time, we have a show which is entirely in Spanish. So, this is going to be a very international night. But first of all, I'm going to be handing over to Ashley, who will be hosting for this show, which is Improv and Me, a discussion of improv and mental health. Over to you, Ashley.
Thanks, David. And can I just say about the Spanish show, Escándalo. Lovely. So this is our podcast that we're doing with Improv and Me, and it's a discussion about improv and mental health. So it sort of came about when I was talking in the green room of one of our shows regarding the BBC documentary called What's the Matter with Tony Slattery, a famous British improviser who suffers with mental health problems. And it was from that I was discussing with other people how prevalent mental health issues are within the improv world specifically, obviously just throughout the world, but what we see in the improv world. And when we floated this idea, and David said, well, let's look at making a podcast about it, and we kind of floated the idea into the world of extreme improv, we had a lot of people wanting to get involved and talk about it. And that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce everybody with the little bios they've sent me. I may just, I don't know. And everybody introduce themselves and then just kind of crack on and get down into this, shall we? I'm Ashley. I'm an improviser who lives in Southend. And I work within an NHS mental health trust, working specifically with dementia. And I'm also the world champion for Extreme World Championship, whatever. And then we also have Lee Terrell, who is my improv dad, he's from London, and he has over 33 years of experience doing and teaching improv, and he's still laughing and still learning. Hello, Lee.
Good evening all, good evening all, good evening.
How are you doing? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. This is the second thing I've done today about this.
Really? Well,
yeah, I'll speak about that in a minute. It's interesting.
Well, you've already got everybody on tenterhooks. Well done. And then we have Sarah, whose performance name is Zizi, who is a mental health nurse and a cognitive behavioural therapist. And you do psychotherapy integrating your previous history in acting and drama. And you've moved from the NHS and started your own company called Creative Mental Health. I mean, that's a lot, isn't it?
Thank you.
Well done to you. And you've also promised that you're going to assess, diagnose and treat all of us this evening, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I've already done
already started work. Yeah. Lovely. And so I'll go on to Paul in a minute, whose cleavage we were just looking at. But actually, we'll go to Paul Sheenigan now, who's currently in transit.
Hey, man.
Hi, man. He's a writer and an improviser, and you have a long history of anxiety and depression, and
that's just today.
And a short history of starting live podcasts.
Look, I thought it would add some ambience. I thought it would be a nice little atmosphere. I thought we could all have a laugh about it. But instead, all I get is, you can't do a podcast in a pub.
Well, we're very, very lovely to have you, and I'm looking forward to seeing whereabouts in Southend in Essex you're going to plop yourself.
Probably in a crack den, mate.
That's all over Southend.
Excellent. We found the bar, and we're under it. So then we also, I'm just going to quickly throw back to David, who's the director of Extreme Improv. And you've directed and taught 10 years of improv. And you're also the author of the Extreme Improv Big Book of Games.
I am. Thank you very much. Very much looking forward to the discussion. And thank you, Ashley, for coming to me with the idea.
Not a problem. We also have Elkie, who is an improviser from New York City with over 9 years of experience. And you're a self-proclaimed improv junkie. You specified improv junkie. And you said that improv keeps you sane.
Yes.
And what I also like is that you are representing the entirety of the US tonight.
A lot of weight on my shoulders.
Well, you can't do much worse than the current guy that's doing it. And we also have Hannah, who is an improviser and actor from Liverpool, and that's all the bio you can be.
I'm just a silent ninja of improv, really. Just here to talk mental health and drink Coke and eat Milky Way and have a good time.
Well, that's what I'm really with. That was specified tonight. I've got my Milky Way.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Adam, who is a full-time improv and drama teacher with Extreme Improv. And you are... Is it that you're also a podcaster as well?
Yeah, so hello everyone first. So I'm a drama teacher, full-time drama teacher in a secondary school, and I do improv alongside that. So I obviously with Extreme Improv and other little bits and pieces. But yes, I do podcasts as well, mental health, and I've got a Harry Potter one as well. So yeah,
Perfect.
Indeed.
Absolutely perfect.
And
Why?
I've been with Extreme Improv for 3 years with Extreme Improv. OG.
Really good. Cool. Right. So that's everybody. Let's get into this. First of all, I just kind of wanted to start with Lee Terrell. Lee, with your 33 years of experience.
All right, don't have to keep saying it. You don't have to keep saying it.
Which is amazing that you started doing that at the age of 50.
Sorry, how many years experience? Sorry, how many years experience? Wow.
So many. Like more than I've been alive. But because of that, you've taught. I don't want to try and guesstimate how many students you've had, because every term, because we do 3 laughter academies a year, which is of course for anyone to join, we can have, I think on one night we've had to split it now into 2 nights because there's so many people, and sometimes you'll be juggling about 70 to 80 people per course, and they're constantly changing. So you must be into the thousands.
Probably, yeah. We were trying to work this out today. I did a thing today for the YMCA. YMCA are doing a thing called a Huge Hangout, and it's about mental health, being positive mental for their clients, etc., etc. And we were invited along to connect laughter and positive mental health. And it's in the thousands, we reckon. Having gone back through it, and I'm like, geez. Like Laughter Academy itself has only been going 10 years, and I've been doing it 33 years on various other forms and shapes.
Yeah.
And in Southend, Laughter Academy's been going for 10 years, and we now run in Southend and Chelmsford. So we were doing 2 lots. We're starting, and a possible third that COVID put a stop to in Hornchurch. So
we won't talk about her, but with your vast experience of thousands of people, you must, because I know that you do talk about mental health in your courses, so you must have seen your fair share of thought to yourself, there is a big connection here.
Oh, absolutely, and as probably Paul will attest to later on, because he's one of the lovely people who does the course. It's wonderful to watch the connection of like improv, as we all know, because we're all improv junkies. The positive outcomes it has. You watch people grow and or learn coping mechanisms, and they don't even know they're doing it. And to watch and to have. One of my favourite things, briefly, I had a guy stop me on the high street once, saying, and I hadn't seen him for about 2 years, but he did a course. He did 3 courses. He did an entire year of courses. And he came and says, I just want to say you changed my life. And I said, how? Before improv, I would have never have gone out with this girl who I really fancied. And I just did all the improv techniques of listening, accepting and building, yes-anding. I said, oh, brilliant, brilliant, really brilliant. He goes, no, I've moved in with her and we're marrying.
Oh,
this
wow.
was a guy that was so shy. He used to have curtains down here, and stuff like that, and be hunched and over like this. So to have that kind of impact on people, and people with people with also conditions like Asperger's and autism, we welcome them all. I mean, I've got a daughter with special needs. I've got a nephew with extreme special needs, and watching how you play improv with those people as well. As long as you're as willing to go yes and you accept where they want you. Where they want to go, and you build with them, that they just fly. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam, is that something that you have also seen, obviously, because you're as a drama teacher as well? Is that something you've all seen?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just going off what Lee said, I think what you said really sort of resonated well with me, because again, as a teacher, as a drama teacher, because I've just done my first year as a trainee teacher, so I'm doing like a 2-year training teacher course. And in my first year, I've gone into a secondary school where there has been no drama before, so they've not had drama as a subject. So I'm coming in and I'm setting it up. I've done the curriculum, and I've set it up over this year, and just the change I've seen in some pupils, especially those that are very shy and quite reserved, and coming from, I suppose, a deprived area, they don't often get the opportunities. Like, a lot of them have never even seen theatre or heard of it, and a lot of them have never kind of experienced any kind of live theatre before. And so coming in and seeing that and seeing the change in them has been just absolutely incredible, and it's incredibly heartwarming. Because I've always said from the very beginning that it's all about the connection that you have, exactly like Lee just said, the yes and the accepting what they're saying, move on, and all of that kind of stuff, like Lee said. And it's all about that connection. I've said it from the very beginning. It's the connection that you have with the students that gets the best out of them. People will disagree with me, and people have. On some parts have disagreed with me because I'm only my first year, but I've always said it, and I always will, and I know that it works, and it does. It's that connection that drama and improv builds. It's literally that.
And what about you, Paul, who's now, some might say, the driving force of this podcast? What would you say about, obviously, as somebody who's experienced a long history of anxiety and depression, how do you think improv helps? Did you say it's part of one of the things that you use to support you?
I think like the last 12 minutes have probably been amongst my most anxious in the last decade.
Sorry, mate.
But aside from that, it's really weird. Like, I sometimes think about where I would be if it wasn't for improv, and it sounds really melodramatic to be like, I don't know if I'd still be around if it wasn't for it. Like, when I first started doing Laughter Academy, and Lee will attest to this as well, I was a completely different person. It was 2011. I was just like really, really lost. I was very insular. But I'd always had this thing where I wanted to do drama. I was really interested in it at school, but people don't allow you to play and to mess around and to explore when you're an adult. You're just supposed to knuckle down and just carry on with things. And the way that Lee teaches and the way that improv beyond that allows you to grow has just really helped me to adapt in any situation.
Yeah, I think the idea is Lee always teaching us that the Laughter Academy specifically, but I'm sure other courses approach it in other ways, maybe not, is that you teach us to think like children again. And obviously as a child you don't longer have these adult constraints where you have to worry about looking silly or daft or worry what you're going to say next. And obviously if you've seen children approaching people with depression or anxiety or Asperger's or bipolar, children just accept whatever's happening and just kind of go with it and form the relationship, an effective relationship, no matter what's presented at them. Yeah. Because the aim of a good scene or relationship is just accepting what you've got in front of you and building something together. Is anything singing to your soul here, Zizi?
I think one of the things that really strikes me is about that freeness to express. And just to kind of be with what comes into your head first. And we often get really bogged down as adults, don't we, with like social conformity and expectations, and people often feel like they're not far enough in life, or they're going to be judged. And so I think what improv does is it allows us to just go with what comes into our head. Just to be really free to just go with whatever that first thing is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hannah, what are your experiences as you've entered the foray? Would you say you're an improviser? Are you also, I assume we're all still learning?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been doing improv for years, but to be quite honest with you, improv has only really become something that has been like full time for me over lockdown. And I honestly think if improv hadn't become so accessible as it has, I don't honestly know how I would have coped up to now. Because when you're trapped within your four walls, everything that just starts, getting to you and impacting you in so many different ways. And then all of a sudden, when you can escape, even if you're in your room, I'm in my room now, like you can escape in your room through the computer with this form of improv, and you can be a little weirdo idiot, and it just works, it just goes, it's brilliantly perfect. So for me, being able to do improv full time over lockdown really has, it for me, mentally saved me in a way, definitely.
Yeah, and Elkie?
Well, I actually wanted to piggyback off of what Adam was saying, because I too teach drama to elementary school kids. I don't know, elementary is K-5 here. I don't know what it is over there.
So primary?
That's primary here. Yeah.
Primary. No, ignore me, I don't know.
Primary school, sorry. For the through the Department of Ed, so I was doing. I was going in and doing after school with the kids, and of course, there's kids that are like, oh, I don't want to do this. This sounds stupid. But as soon as I introduce the activities and some start doing it, it gets them in there. There's this game that they really loved was Magic Hat, and it was whoever I put the hat on can become anybody they want to become. It doesn't matter. And then I do a little Q&A with them and ask them, what they like to eat, what's their name, what they like to do for fun. Yeah. And it's something that they all got into. And to me, the improv is so, it attracts me because of the element of pretend. It's like going back to childhood, playing pretend, that escapism where you're like, I could... For the time being, I'm this person. I'm anybody I want to be. I'm not thinking about what's going on in my life. I'm just this person, and it's and becoming that person. That's why I think that's why I'm a junkie. Because I was the only child, and I was by myself a lot. So all I had was time and opportunity to be creative. So it's. That's what improv is. It's like going back to that childhood for me where I'm playing pretend and I'm not an adult, sort of, yeah.
And finally, David, anything else to weigh in on these points?
Yeah, so just to give a tiny bit of my personal history with it, I've often said this and people don't necessarily get it from everything I do, especially that I run an improv company and improv shows and things like this. But I would say I am far and away the shyest person I have ever known. I'm incredibly shy, and for me, when I would go to I didn't go to school for a lot of my life, which is a much deeper thing to get into. But when I found that I discovered performing and that there was opportunities to improvise and make things up on the spot, I found that was the very first time that I could do something so that I could relate to people, so that I could get to know people, so that I'd do something that would be a gateway to show a little bit of my personality. And then I'd find that, this is the ultimate icebreaker for me to be able to say, hey, yeah, I just came up with this idea and I had the permission to say it because the context of being in a group on a stage or just in a workshop just allowed me just to say something because you were expecting me to come up with something, and I did it. And that was the first thing that really allowed me to get a friendship group and to connect with people, which is one of the for me the greatest thing about improv is just the fact that there's a community and you can connect with people and socialize out of it. And so going into, because I teach as well, I teach drama to children and adults in workshops at schools and weekly classes and things. And I will always look to, especially when I'm teaching children, if there's someone who I feel is a little bit more reserved, I will actively try to give them an exercise or something that I think you've got something here where if I give you the opportunity, you're going to leap at it and it's going to help you integrate, and they end up being much happier, and that is ultimately so rewarding.
Absolutely. I need you all to stop making really valid points because I had a tangentialism that I wanted to go down that I had to my massive notes because there's stuff I want to go back to. I think one of the things that has been a common thread with a few people is talking about freedom and this getting rid of resistant adults, where we've all learned our own coping mechanisms and our own ways of trying to get past anxieties, or a way of avoiding stressful situations, whether or not that's confronting it head on or running for the hills. I know that the very, very dark time of my life a couple of years ago, when everything had gone wrong, living situation, my job, my masters, everything was in the crapper, and the only thing that was keeping, my mum said to me at one point, Ashley, maybe you've got so much on, maybe you should stop improv, just because. I was like, no, that is the thing I have. It's, no, just for that course, Lee, I promise, you can still have my money. No, it was the only thing where for those 3 hours, it was white noise, where I didn't have to worry about the stresses I had. I'd just been educated to focus on the person that I was sharing a scene with. But I wanted to kind of crack on and look into, so we've got quite a lot of educators in the room. You've made me very, very aware I probably should be educating someone at some point. But I want to talk about the actual positive use of improv to actually improve the mental health or mood of a room. And going into a similar order again, I kind of want to pick up with Lee and Sarah here. Else, please pile on after. So first of all, Lee, with your course that you do a lot of corporate improv, don't you? Especially that are restructuring, or where there's a lot of ineffective conflict resolution. You wander in and you throw at them, and you say that you notice quite a few positive impacts of improv, and the maybe a failing mental health of an entire room. How's that?
The hardest thing to do for me, teaching not just corporately, but like we teach for Mind and other places and charities like that, but walking into a room where you've been given a remit of like, go and change the way they think. And literally, it's that I did a big session for Safe Style, which are a window selling company, and they were saying about the way they sell over the phones, and they want to change it up, because a lot of the time people ring up and say, I've got a question about this, and they have a script to stick to, so they'll do it in order, and they'll go, I'll get to that in a minute. And their new marketing guy said, I want them to be able to just be fluid. So this is a prime example of when you go into the room, they've been doing it that way for years, it's made money, why should we change? So you're up against it that way. And they're scared of change. People are scared of change. People are scared of new, they're scared of the unknown, they're scared of things that they don't want to confront, because who does? Who wants to confront things? If it doesn't suit your comfort, then 9 times out of 10, people will find reasons to be within the comfort and give themselves permission and or excuses as to why they want to stay there. And in reality, they know at the back of their head they should change. So often you'll go up against it, especially when they've been told to by the management to go and go like, you've got to take this course. So ultimately what I do is, the way I approach it is I become the butt of the jokes. I become the one that makes mistakes. I become the one that sort of like initially starts to kind of go, it's okay, you can fail. I want you to fail, because if you don't fail doing these exercises, there's no point in doing, no point in being here. And I said, I have, after years of experience, got, we all have, if we're teaching, we've all got what we call our bag of tricks. So I have a bag of tricks. But my ultimate thing is, and the best thing about it is, I've never, I'm touching wood, God, pencil, touch wood, I've never had anybody walk out. So I've never had anybody walk out, and I never have what I call passengers. So I don't let anybody come in just to watch. I've never done it. Never done it, never will. We were working with Johnson & Johnson, and the CEO walks in to one of, and it's like all senior management stuff, and he walks in, and he's been shown around. And I was teaching like a communications class, and he walks in, and he says, just sit down. I go, no. And they all went, I can't say that, it's the CEO. I said, I can, and I will, and here's the reason why. You can't imagine how pressurised it is to be teaching people something that they're scared of, which is having no preparation and standing up in front of people and doing something. So, and then you've got the added pressure of you sitting there who's a CEO, and you look like you're judging them. And he went, fair enough, and got up and joined in. You know, and so we have to appreciate the fact that it does change, but it's just a little awkward. It's just the initial awkwardness. But once they realise the joy it brings, being allowed to be a kid again, and to say silly stuff and act in stupid ways, and to not be judged while you're doing so, is such a liberating feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And with Sarah, you've actually, some might say, you've harnessed the creative arts with the purpose of providing a therapeutic outlet for people with mental health difficulties, focusing specifically on improv. How do you do that?
Well, wow, that was a big intro.
It's a big, yeah, could you just quickly answer that, but in 2 sentences or less? Thank you.
Well, I mean, the majority of my work, I'm a CBT practitioner, so most of the time I'm doing fairly sort of evidence-based CBT, which has some elements that go alongside with drama and some sort of improv style. You know, it works alongside it in many ways. For instance, we do a lot of role play within CBT. That can be really helpful for somebody who's suffering with some confidence problems, or perhaps they're upset that they didn't get to tell somebody who they loved that's now passed away something that was really dear to their heart. So we might do some imaginal work where they can get that opportunity to speak to that person within the use of our minds, by closing our eyes and just kind of going through that scenario. Because imagery is really, really powerful. Imagery is a really, really powerful tool when it comes to healing. And as I say, role play as well, just they're sort of very standard CBT techniques that I think are rooted in drama in many ways. But because I'm such a lover of drama and improv, and I really love a lot of Augusto Boal's work with forum theatre and image theatre. So I do a few workshops using those techniques to help people express difficult emotions. We've put together certain little projects where people have been able to exhibit their work. So for instance, we did a workshop using image theatre that was also a bit of photography, biographical photography. So we went through 4 workshops using some of Augusto Boal's work, using different techniques within drama to build on images that represented certain points in their life. And then we had a photographer come in and take photos, and then that was then displayed in an expedition that we had. That was an amazing project. Other times using improvisation, not so much the improv that we're known doing within XStreamed.
Single syllable words.
More. We did some forum theatre around helping people understand the difficulties that somebody's going through when they're suffering with mental ill health. And that can be a really useful way of helping people to understand and helping people to know, to find ways they can help others, and in a really non-judgmental way, because we can try it out. And you're improvising around that, so the person playing that role has probably had some personal experience, because that's tended to be what I was working with at the time. I was working on projects for people who had experienced some kind of mental health problem, and we were working through the techniques and the tools in forum theatre, and then we were performing it. And so there was that opportunity, kind of a two-armed process of allowing people to have that expression and that time to learn the techniques, and then be able to show that to others, and then the other arm of it, allowing other people to learn how they can help, how they can form a greater understanding So obviously I'm not a drama therapist, so these workshops weren't drama therapy. I have to be quite careful about that.
Yeah.
So my CBT work and my drama theatre work I separate.
Yeah. I think you've touched on that I hadn't really thought of before, is that, because I had been thinking about improv and mental health obviously quite a bit because of this podcast, but I'd never actually considered the idea that improv innately contains therapeutic devices that we just don't name that way. We put them in different ways, and that's not something that I actually thought about. Has anybody else got to throw anything onto the pile here?
So before just to add sorry, I just want to pick up on what you just said, because I forgot to mention that another really basic CBT technique, which is quite similar to drama, is this idea of a 3-chair technique, where if somebody's got their inner bully, we might get them to play out their inner bully on one chair, and then they'll move to the next chair and they'll play out themselves. Kind of say, look, why are you bullying me? And then the inner bully will answer. So there's quite a lot of different techniques that we use in therapy that are rooted in drama. A lot of therapists don't like to admit it.
Improvising your way into giving your inner voices an actual outside voice.
Yes, exactly. So you're expressing it as an outside voice.
If I can add to that something now, without going into details and stuff, because it's not relevant to the story, I could say I've gone through CBT and a couple of other things at times in my life, and one of the big takeaways I had from it was that, as you say about putting, if you have something, as you described it, like your other version of yourself on a chair, your self-doubt or what have you, one of the amazing coping mechanisms I felt for myself is I can completely relate to improv. And in improv, we say about embracing failure. And when I teach improv, and especially because I do teach all of, with extreme improv, I put over the idea that it's competitive and there's hard games. But the first thing, and Adam especially, because you've been in a room with me, the thing I'll say is that, people enjoy when others go wrong. And when you can embrace the fact that, everyone has the context of knowing that you're going to try to achieve something difficult. If you achieve it, great, they're on your side. If you don't achieve it, they're willing you on and they'll be on your side. So embracing failure when you learn that it's okay to go wrong in life, it's very empowering. And I can just say, taking that into the real world, I'll experience that. And people that know me, friends, my girlfriend and everything, so many times I'll just, if I feel like I dry up in conversational things, I'll just be like, so this is awkward, I can't think of anything to say, and I'll just embrace it. I'll just say, tell me things, and it's because I don't have anything to say. And just rather than there being the awkwardness of it, I'll just say, do you know what, I don't know what to say here, but this is going to be funny because I probably should know, especially with my girlfriend. We've been going out for 3 years, and I'll still say to her, I don't know what to say now, so help me out. And it just, it eases any tension, it lightens the mood. I do it with my parents, and just being able to say, I don't always know what to do. In the real world, most people don't do that. Most people feel like they're always supposed to know what to do all the time, and it simply isn't true, and it isn't true for most people.
Yeah. Yeah, just jumping off of that one as well, that was, it's really, because like you say, during the shows, when it goes wrong, it's often funnier. It's often the funniest thing when someone mucks up. It's why we watch bloopers on YouTube and stuff all the time, because it's hilarious watching people screw up. It's funny, and being in the shows and getting stuff wrong, I always find more fun than getting it right in a way, because that makes you kind of on the same side as the audience. But I say to my students all the time, I used to do, alongside teaching drama, I used to do reading class for years 7 and 8. And sometimes the students, if I ask them to read out loud, they will say things like, I can't, I don't know how to read. Or they'll say, I've got dyslexia or something like that. And I go, I've got dyslexia as well. Look, you saw me stumble several times while I was reading. It honestly doesn't matter, and that will kind of spur them on in the right way. Because I'll say, look, I've got dyslexia as well. I've got other learning difficulties, and it doesn't stop me. It's not held me back at all. If you muck up while you're reading, don't worry. Just stop, try again, and I can see that result working a lot. And I often find in teaching sometimes there can be that emphasis of you need to be the perfect person, or like you need to constantly be seen as like someone to be feared or someone impressive in a way. And I always find that it's actually quite nice being the sort of person that's actually on the same level as them, teaching them as well. You know, it's I always find that part of teaching so interesting.
Absolutely, and I think about Lee's classes. I do sound like I idolise Lee. I need everyone to know that I don't. But I do. But the three things that like David has said is things being able to, and same with you, Adam. Lee said sometimes if you walk onto a scene and you don't know what to say I don't know what to say, and that can be enough to start a scene. Your improv partner will be there to help you out, and knowing that you're not going to be drowning on your own. And then also as well, I think Lee's definitely given me this feedback before. You can just be quiet for a bit. You don't. Yeah, not on stage, just in life. No, but you have said that be quiet for a bit. Let the mood hit for a bit.
Elkie, you want to say something?
Elkie, yes, go on, Elkie.
Yes. So I was thinking it's also very good at dealing with customer service. I used to be a manager at a pharmacy, and a pharmacy has the front where they have the regular products, and then the back is a pharmacy where the pharmacists and everybody do their own thing. But in the neighborhood I worked in, the pharmacy would get a lot of the junkies, basically. The ones
the improv junkies here, is it?
No, not improv junkies, narcotic. So I remember. So a lot of the complaints that the pharmacy would get, they would send to me because they didn't want to deal with them. So there was this one guy that came in, and he had a cane, and he was coming in. He had a beer. He was drinking his beer, and he obviously had something else going on. And he came to get his prescription, and the prescription that they gave him, because the doctor didn't designate the generic or the actual brand, they gave him the generic brand, and it was for morphine. But it didn't say morphine, it said the generic brand. So he had a problem. He was arguing with the pharmacist. So they were like, Elkie, please, come handle him. So he came up to the front with his cane, drinking his beer still. And I'm like, okay, so first of all, you got to apply the principle of, do not negate, right? So I already knew if I came at him with anything like, no, you can't do that, you can't do this, and he's gonna take the offensive. So I'm like, I came to him. I'm like, please, come on, you can't be drinking no beer inside a place of business. So I came to him as like we're friends. We're not, but And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. So then he explained the situation to me. Obviously, he was on something because the way he was talking. It don't say morphine. I was like, I understand that, but this is an issue you need to take up with your doctor, right? And you can't keep drinking the beer in front of me, You gotta understand, this is a place of business. We have rules, all right? It's not the pharmacist's fault that they gave you this. This is what the doctor, I explained the rules to him, and I talked to him like a person, whereas the pharmacist was like, you need to leave, sir. You need to get the fuck out. They were like going on, like, no, stop, because they didn't want to hear it. But sometimes it's about, that's what improv comes into. You figure out what the scene is about, right, by talking to your scene partner. So it's the same thing. His main issue was that he couldn't. He didn't say it to me, but I gathered he couldn't sell it on the street because it didn't say morphine on it. Right. He was one of those people that get the prescription and then he sells it. So I'm like, listen, I understand, but maybe there might be somebody that will take it. I didn't try to join in as aiding and abetting, but I was like, maybe there's something that can be done. The pharmacist can do nothing, and now that they gave it to you, it's yours now. Do with it what you want.
have a day. No, I think the idea is framing conversations, but also I found it helps frames my therapeutic conversations. When I say therapeutic, I mean informally with friends. When we're talking about serious issues with their mood, their anxieties and things, I think not just because being interested in mental health podcasts anyway, but also thinking about always being conscious, because I can hear Lee Terrell's voice in my head saying, no but, yes and. Not saying no and shutting down, but allowing that conversation to happen so that each of you feels as empowered as the other. Hannah and Paul, have you got anything to throw into this mix? I didn't want to say, do you guys relate to the guy in the pharmacy?
Oh yeah, definitely want to sell morphine.
It sounds like a good career path.
I think, what are we doing? But have you guys got anything else to throw into the mix before we move on?
I just think, listening to everyone and moving forward in whatever's coming next in this discussion, these sort of podcasts are great. People are listening who are in the same boat, who are going through something that they don't feel anyone else understands. And then when you hear something like what's being discussed, and I'm sure what will be discussed further on in this podcast, you automatically sit there and you go, I'm not alone, and it's there are other people like me, and I should be not so much like proud, that's the wrong word, but I should be open without the worry of judgment, because that's where I'm going to get help, and that's where I'm going to get support, and that's where I'm going to get people understanding and acknowledging that I'm going through something. And if they can relate to it, 10 times better. And if they can't, I mean, I never, through my own personal stuff, I never really, I don't sit there and I don't judge people, because you just think they could be going through anything. And if I judge them, I'm judging their character without knowing them, without knowing what's behind those closed doors as well. You just can't do that. So I think with this sort of podcast, I hope loads of people are watching it and taking away the fact that they're not alone,
Yeah, I think I agree, because I think one of the things that I often get, because a friend of mine, Lee's and Paul's, has described it before as functional depression. This idea that I think a word that I heard on this documentary of Tony Slattery was hypothymia, and I'm not clinical or anything like that, but the idea of it, when they were talking about the concept of it, I was being stripped naked where I sat, I was like, that's me. This idea that I'm very, very hyperactive and very, very talkative, but then that kind of blends into me then running on stress, and even if I am overtired and constantly fatigued, I'll still go out to see people. I'm still like a puppy, but that means that energy's got to come from somewhere, and that will usually then lead to me being 3 days of being completely apathetic, completely detached, and not even still feel stuff. And I'll go through these peaks and troughs. And it's not clinically diagnosed or anything like that, but I know that it is something that I'm at risk of if I'm not looking after myself. And I think about quite a few people, especially in our world of comedy and improv comedy and stand-up comedy, who are, often when they describe their mental health and describe their bouts of depression, people often say, you don't come across the person that gets depressed. You're always so happy, you're always so bouncy. I'm like, yeah, that's part of the cause. But we're just trying to make it off of it. And that's one of the things. Yes, Sarah?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this really and say that, often people will view a therapist to be to have no problems in the world themselves. That sometimes you're often viewed as being a bit of an oracle sometimes, and we're not at all. I've suffered depression. That's one of the reasons that I feel really passionate about a lot of the community work I do, because I've been there, and sometimes I will say to people when I'm seeing them in therapy, if they're worried about taking medication or something, if it feels right to do so, I sometimes will share my own personal experience that I've taken fluoxetine, for a period of time, and I've had a couple of bouts of depression, And also what you were saying, Adam, I'm really dyslexic too. So, and I'm very open about that. I almost have to be, because it's obvious in the room, because I'm writing things sometimes.
Yeah, I've had that kind of moment just in a classroom where I've gone to write down a word on the board. I can't remember what it was. It was something. It was like I forgot what the word was, but I was like and I was stood at the board for ages trying to trace out the rest of the words. And what's up? I was like, let's type up on my laptop. There we go, and wrote it out. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then because they're like, you can't have dyslexia. You're a teacher. I was like, I've just proved I can. Yeah. Oh, fun times.
Absolutely, and that's why I think I looked at our improv community and the improv community that Lee set up in Southend and across London, well, in parts of London and whatnot, is vast and diverse and neurodiverse, and is all walks of life are in our improv group, which I absolutely love. And a lot of people go not just to the showcases. They come to have fun, do the social, and get their mental health top up, which I absolutely love. And as you say, what I've found, the biggest thing that I've had to check in with is that we have people with anxiety and schizoaffective disorder, we've got people with bipolar disorder, and we've got obviously anxiety and depression and Asperger's, we've got physical disabilities, and then also we across the LGBTQ and gender spectrum, and across the race spectrum, country spectrum, and it's just, I think it brings a lot of people together. And also I think it seems to attract...
We've also got Paul.
We've also got Paul, whatever Paul is. Kind of a smattering of all of them. It does seem to... I don't know, I'm generalising, this is my opinion and my alone, but it does seem to attract people who have sometimes feel maybe had a bit more adversity in their life, or have had a bit more struggle. There's something about this improv environment, the practice of it and the social element of it, that does seem to attract people that have been through a bit more adversity than others. Paul, you're nodding. Have you anything else to throw into it at the moment?
Can I just ask Paul something? Paul, can I ask you something?
You may ask me something.
Thank you. When, I'm not asking just you specifically, Improv, you started, like you said, 2011, introduced by Danny, lovely Danny, and we started something, and remember you were like a puppy in, like, this excitable puppy, but also scared of everything. When was, on your external, outside of Improv life, when was the first time you realised, like, I'm actually utilising stuff I'm learning from Improv to cope with might be the real world?
I think it's more than anything, it's work-related stuff where I first started noticing it. I work in a bank. I work in like financial crime. So everyone is very intelligent. Everyone's very well read, very well versed on that particular area. It's quite niche, but everyone knows what they're talking about. And we'll go around the table in a meeting, and I'll be asked for my opinion on something, and I don't know what's going on. And I'll say something and people will nod, and it's because I've done like 9 years of improv now. It happened today, like I was asked what's going on with the team. I just pretend to click through. I was like pretending I was pulling up a spreadsheet. I was like, oh yep. So I think it's weird, because I wouldn't have expected that from that first session. And I don't know if I've ever told you this. Danny told me I only had to come to one session and I never had to do it again. And then you told me that I had to do the full course, and then I didn't have to do it again. And here we are, nearly a decade later.
Regret is something we're told not to have.
Blackmail is a great thing.
But no, it is one of, and also I think when you speak to people about the reasons they've got into it, because I know that there's one improviser who came because she's very, very quiet, and that was really, and she did a couple of, and I never ever under this ever thought that this lady would ever step foot on a stage in front of a paying audience, and after 2 rounds she did, and I was gobsmacked. And I think it kind of lends into Hannah's idea of you can't judge people, you should know what they're capable of. not everyone is going to want to do improv. Not everybody's going to start it, but I think it can be beneficial to probably everyone. Not Donald Trump. He needs to stop improvising. He's gone too far, and probably needs more rules and things. So is anyone, I'm just very conscious now that we've got 10 minutes left of this lovely podcast. Yes, Lee?
Can I ask, before we wrap up, that we all of us, give 2 things that improv has given us, positively, about mental health. Just 2 things, just 2 things. So we can go and, give me this and it's giving me this. Your top 2, I've got my top 2.
Well, okay, why don't you start?
Well, no, it's do you want to do this as a last bit? Because we've got 9 minutes left, mate. You can fit something else if you want, I'm sure.
Well, because I was going to ask people for their final thoughts, really, and their kind of like their Jerry Springer's final thoughts. So I thought I could going to go around all of us and ask us for our 2 things that improv has given us, anything that we want to finish up with by talking about mental health improv, and then where also people can find you on social media, your publications, and those kind of bits and bobs, if that's all right with everybody? Yes? Good. I also want to thank, just before we also start wrapping up, we've had some people in the comments who've been watching, which has been lovely. We've had Danny George saying, hi folks and muy bien. And also Kate, I don't know if you're wandering around Southend, Paul. And also Sandra George said, I can relate, I've only just discovered improv and it has saved me. I love being allowed to be silly and not being judged. Jordan Gray, who we know being a very sarcastic lady, said, it's hard to relate to all this. What a wonderful panel. Lisa said, well, I love you so much. Seeing your face has made my day. Thank you, Lisa. You also know me and Paul.
To be fair, Ashley, I think she meant hard relate to all of this, meaning she really related. I saw that and I read it as hard relate to this. No, there's no 2 there. Changes the meaning.
It's a hard relate.
Yeah.
Nina has said, this is a wonderful conversation. Improv and Lee Terrell's guidance in particular helped me through a horrible time in my life, even though I wasn't very good at performing. I can definitely fail. She's not, she's actually very, very good at performing. Thank you for sharing these stories. Lovely. Thanks everybody for watching and those comments. So why don't we start wrapping up? Paul, have you got your 2 things and what you'd like to throw into the mix?
Any time that Lee says we're going to do a thing, I immediately have it come to mind. So I've got my 2 things.
Amazing.
So the first thing is friends and friendship. When I think about what my social calendar looks like now, it is 80% composed of people that I've met from improv in the last 9 years, and it's really, really strange to think that was the starting off point for those friendships, and that it's grown so much, and that there's so many creative people in an area that looks like it should be bombed. And it's really this is the delay, I was waiting for everybody to react. It just shows, like, and then that feeds into my second one, which is letting your freak flag fly, where I've always been told that I'm a little bit odd, and to find other people who are like, yes, to find other people who buy into that and who will let you do whatever it is that you feel like doing is a magnificent thing and should be celebrated. So I'm very thankful to improv for allowing me to branch back out into that and not be so insular and not become generic and grey, and to push things forward and be different and be myself.
Do you think before improv you would have gone to Goa on your own?
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, I'd never travelled alone before I started improv, and then since then I've been to Peru, Argentina, Costa Rica, India, Paris.
He's still on the run. Just as
Why do you think I'm in a car, mate? I've got places to go.
Thanks very much, Paul. And where can
Thank
we
you.
get hold of you? Where are your bits?
All of my bits probably best. Come on, Lily. We've all kept it above level until this point. Let's carry on. So if you Google me, if you can spell my surname, then you'll just find a wealth of stuff there. So my Twitter, where I'm hilarious, my Instagram, where I try and make myself look a lot fancier than I actually am. I've got some books on Amazon and some music on Spotify. I'm like a rubbish Renaissance man.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Rubbish.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Hannah.
Yeah.
Your 2 cents, your final thoughts, and where your bits are.
The bits are currently all over social media at the moment.
What?
Yeah. No, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hannah_McGowanX. It's the same name, and a bit like Paul, I just go nuts. Literally, there's me bits, me nuts all over social media, and do as much as I can to talk about random stuff that comes into my head, which is genuinely really random, and also support other improv artists and companies and so on. So that's where my bits are at. In terms of improv, like I said at the start, it's helped me through lockdown, like I'm sure it has for many people. It's given me an opportunity to just really advance in things that I didn't know before that I now do know. And also, it's given me the opportunity to perform. Extreme Improv. I perform through this amazing company with David that he set up is beyond amazing in my opinion.
Thank you.
And also something that I'm only just starting to kind of be more. I don't know how to say this. Something that I'm starting to become more aware of, and something that I'm starting to judge myself less on, is that I have Asperger's myself. It's only very mild, but before being diagnosed, it affected me really, really badly because I could not understand the world around me, and I couldn't understand people, and I didn't know how anything worked beyond standing on a stage and being anyone other than myself, and that was my escapism. Improv allows my many crazy characters in my head to hold a massive house party where anything goes. You can yes everything, you don't have to say no unless you want to, and you can just kind of exit stage left every time something gets awkward or work with it. But through improv, I've actually found a voice just in the real world. And obviously now lockdown's easing and you're getting out into the world again and you're seeing people again. And I've automatically found that I'm talking to people without the worry or the stress of saying something stupid or something that could come across as maybe a bit rude or, however that conversation could possibly run. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm actually holding conversations with people, and that is humongous for me. It honestly is, because I used to be quite shy and didn't really talk about stuff unless I was talking about a general topic. But just to kind of wrap it up, like for me in general, improv has given me a voice I didn't have before, and it's made me the person that I have always wanted to be. That is basically what improv has done for me. And moving forward, I'm taking it beyond being on stage. That's, yeah.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Thanks for your openness and honesty. We've just been told we need to go very, very rapidly. Elkie, where are your bits?
Everywhere, like Hannah.
Yeah.
So, real quick, what improv has done for me, it's helped me. Like I said, I'm an improv junkie. It helps me become somebody else. It helps me escape, even if it's for a couple of minutes. I get to be somebody else, and it makes me feel good about the day or whatever. And also, I get off on performing for people. So for me, and it also helps me get characters, which I have a character I'm doing later on, Morty. But if anybody wants to find out more about me, come and check me out, LPTV. I'm at LPTV on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, your mama's house, everywhere.
Thank you very much, Elkie. And Sarah / CZ?
So my two things would be silliness and the freedom to make mistakes. I really resonated with that point.
Lovely. And where are your bits?
My bits. So my website is creativementalhealth.org.uk. And I've also got a performance page on Facebook, which is easy. So you can either check my work page or my arts page.
Thank you very much indeed, Sarah. And Adam?
So yeah, again, it's given me freedom, so much freedom. Before Extreme Improv, in very low space, with my OCD and my depression, it was everything was becoming a bit too much. I found Extreme Improv, and it was just a community. That's another word, community. It gave me a community of people that I love, people that I love to work with, and just anytime I go and do a gig, it doesn't matter how crap my day was, I go there and it's just freedom, and just we go far, we push the boundaries, and we just have fun, and it's just getting out there improvising is just so much fun. It's freedom and it's community for me.
And
yeah, everywhere. All over the place. I'm on a radar in a submarine. You'll have to find me. No, I'm joking. So I'm on Adam Hughes. You can find me, Adam Hughes Actor, on Facebook, Adam Richard Hughes on Instagram, and I also Dissecting the Magic on Facebook and Instagram, which is my Harry Potter podcast, and soon to be on YouTube. There we are. And also, if anyone needs to talk, please do. My inbox is open. Please do feel free to talk to me anytime.
Lovely, thank you. Very quickly, I'm Ashley Edwards. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook is Ashley Edwards. My two things are actually listening to people and getting better at actually just listening and taking a second, not just thinking about what I'm about to say next. And then also learning that there's always things to be learned is one thing that I like to learn. And with the penultimately, we've got Lee Terrell.
Two things: learning that you can fail, and that's fun, and community, people I've met through it, wonderful. And it's facebook.com/The Laughter Academy.
Thank you. And then handing back over to the 3-minute overrun, David Pastanzi.
Don't worry. And guys, I just want to say I'm so sorry that I had to give them a brief note, just because we have a show coming up in a moment. But just to briefly say, my two things: one, it is embracing failure, and just all of the amazing, wonderful people that I've met. Like, out of you guys here, I've only met Adam in real life, and Adam, you know, you're such a good friend of mine. But all of you I've met over the time of lockdown, Ashley, Elkie, ZZ, Hannah, you know, you're great. Lee, Paul, it's been brilliant just to meet you here. The one major takeaway I've got from this here is it's a bigger subject than for 1 hour. I would love to get people back to do another one of these. If you know, we've got another show, and I've got to be kind and respect them for that. But let's do another one of these, and let's organise it again very soon, is the final thought I'll say, guys. I want to thank you so much, Ashley. This was a absolutely wonderful idea, and just seeing the comments that were coming through as well, I see that people have really found this helpful. So thank you.
Brilliant. Good. All right. Are you going to take us off the air?
Okay, yeah, I thought you were about to wrap it up a little bit more than that, Ashley. It was your shindig.
Podcast, and there may be a sequel soon.
Okay, thank you so much. Right, guys, I'll put us on a brief holding screen.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you all, guys. Okay, guys, if I can wrap up the Zoom meeting, then I need to start another one, because I've left.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much indeed, everybody. Thank you for your help and support.
Yeah.
experiencia virtual completamente improvisada. A continuación, te presentaremos una serie de indicaciones para disfrutarlo de la mejor manera. Lo primero es configurar tu sala de Zoom en la vista de galería. Dirígete a la esquina superior derecha de tu pantalla para cambiar esta opción. Asegúrate de no tener la vista del hablante activa. Después, deberás ocultar a los participantes sin video. Dirígete a uno de los recuadros sin video y dale clic a los tres puntos que se encuentran en la esquina superior derecha. Escoge la opción del menú Ocultar participantes sin video. Si te encuentras en un dispositivo móvil, deberás deslizar a la izquierda para entrar en la vista de galería. Es posible que a lo largo de la experiencia se regrese a la vista del hablante automáticamente. De ser así, solo deberás deslizar a la izquierda para volver. Para ocultar los participantes sin video, deberás presionar los tres puntos que se encuentran en la esquina inferior derecha y escoger la opción Esconder participantes sin video. Por último, deberás tener tu cámara y micrófono desactivado en todo momento. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. En unos minutos ya comenzará el espectáculo.
¿Qué pasó, mi gente? Bienvenidos sean todos al cumpleaños de Fulanito, o debería decir el cumpleaños de Fulanito. Welcome to the cumpleaños of Fulanito. Esto es un show de impro donde 4 amigos que se encuentran en distintas partes del mundo, antes estaban en Venezuela, pero ahora por el éxodo están en distintas partes del mundo, se reúnen por Zoom para celebrar el cumpleaños de uno de ellos. Y bueno, ya para que sepan, 4 friends in different parts of the world, they get together in Zoom meeting to celebrate the birthday of one of them. So, vamos a presentarles quiénes son estos personajes. Who are these guys? Well, first, we have Juanpi. Juanpi es el amigo que siempre va a estar ahí con una cerveza en la mano. El que se enamora, pero no solo de las mujeres, sino de sus camionetas y le encanta el dinero. Actualmente vive en Houston, Texas. También tenemos a Tito. Él es cinéfilo, un poco nerd y le gusta hacer los videojuegos y ser gamer y quizás sea hasta virgen. Su sueño es ser un superhéroe y actualmente vive en Madrid, España. También tenemos a Valeria. Rockera, feminista, anarquista, peleona y budista. Claro que sí, mucho cuidado con Valeria. Ella sigue en Caracas, Venezuela, así que le falla constantemente el internet y el wifi, ¿ok? También tenemos a José Gregorio. Él es original de Chupadero, Estado Guárico, Venezuela. Es inocente, es sencillo, es sincero. Actualmente reside en Miami, Florida. Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. Ahora sí, damas y caballeros, esto es un show de impro, ¿ok? Así que ustedes van a decidir quién de estos 4 va a cumplir años. Y me lo van a escribir en el chat. So, you have to decide who is going to be the birthday today. So, you can choose Tito, o Valeria, o Juanpi, o José Gregorio. Put it in the chat. Who's going to be the birthday of? I'm trying my best, I'm sorry. Ok, Valeria, Juanpi, José Gregorio, Tito, Valeria, van 2 Valeria, van 2 Juanpi, 3 Juanpi, 4 Juanpi, 1, 2, 3. Vamos a hacer una cosa. Me parece que Juanpi, ganó Juanpi. Es el cumpleaños de Juanpi, ¿ok? No, lo siento, Gustavo Randón, no se puede multiplicar, es un poquito de trampa. Ok, damas y caballeros, es el cumpleaños de Juanpi. Ya yo hablé un poquito de ellos, pero ahora regálenme una palabra que ustedes relacionen con cumpleaños. Give me any word that you relate with birthday. ¿Ok? Ajá, a ver. Just put in the chat one word that you think is related to birthday. Pequeño, cachapa, ron. Yo creo que no voy a seguir hablando inglés, no hace falta, ¿no? De salsa, ajá. Vicente García, ok. Cachapa, I'm going to choose just one, ok. Cachaping, ok. Cachaping, ok. Pequeño, pea, ajá. Mira, cachapeo ya no. No, vamos a quedarnos en cachaping. Vamos a quedarnos en cachaping, que la gente está como cachapera. So, cachaping is the word that the characters will use for the next monologue. I'm very bad. Okay. So, ahora los personajes hablarán un poco de ellos mismos, vamos a conocerlos, pero en su monólogo tendrán que usar la palabra cachaping. Así que vamos a verlos por primera vez y cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Si hay algo que a mí me molesta, si hay algo que me molesta, coño, es no tener a mi amigo cerca. Bueno, estamos en distintas partes del mundo, ¿verdad? Entonces, claro, yo siempre he estado para ellos. Yo siempre he estado para ellos, para celebrar, incluso aquí, incluso por el Zoom. Por el Zoom yo les celebro los cumpleaños a ellos, ¿verdad? Ah, no. Pero entonces este año, ¿verdad? Que era como mi primer año alejado de mis amigos, resulta que a mis amigos me hacen este desastre, se le olvida mi cumpleaños y además a Valeria se le ocurre la brillante idea de dejarme en ridículo contando un secreto que era una vaina de nosotros dos. Es que lo único que me provoca es como cachetearla y darle una cacheteada de Juan, un cachapín, ¿entiendes? Porque yo soy Juan Pi, entonces como un cachap o una cachetada de Juan Pi, un cachapín, porque nosotros así, cada vez que yo me molestaba le daba cachapín a cada uno de ellos. Y todo, los cuatro se lo merecen, pero sobre todo Valeria por andar hablando pendejada que no tiene que hablar, chica. No tenía que hablar y menos si se le había olvidado también mi cumpleaños. ¿Qué coño le pasa, chica? Está pasada de intransigente.
Intransigentemente estoy determinada a ser una persona saludable con una mejor condición física y mental, porque lo psicológico también es importante. Entonces, ¿cuál es la primera cosa que hay que hacer? Evitar a tus amistades que te saquen de tu zona zen, ¿sí? Om gam gara gachapin gacha. Om gam gara gachapin gacha. Yo estoy completamente zen y estoy segura de que mi camino hubiese encontrado su fuente de luz de no ser por las estupideces de Tito. Porque yo puedo ser olvidadiza, pero yo sé resolver mis cosas, ¿sabes? El tema es cuando se mete un cizañero, ¿verdad? A transgredir un secreto, porque es que yo no le había contado absolutamente nada para que hiciera el show que hizo. Entonces por culpa de él, todo el mundo molesto con Valeria. Aléjense de la gente que sea como Tito.
Tito para acá, Tito para allá. Tito, necesito esto. Tito, ¿tú puedes ayudarme un momentico con esta cosa? Siempre yo estoy para mis amigos y yo siempre me quedo calladísimo en la boca. Yo también tengo mis problemas y mis secretos. ¿Alguien sabe que yo tengo un problema con la ludopatía en estos momentos de mi vida? Que me la paso jugando a las maquinitas y haciendo así, cachapín. Nadie lo sabe. ¿Ah? Entonces ahora yo soy la mala persona. La mala persona porque decidí al alejarme y salir de vacaciones por un tiempo. De verdad que por eso es que a mí me encanta José Gregorio, porque José Gregorio es el único amigo que no me juzga para nada.
Nada. Y yo, eso es lo que me gritaban. Nada. Y entonces yo, imagínense, yo no sabía nada. Pero lo importante de toda esta historia que les estoy contando es que yo conseguí a un salvador, que era un chamán llamado Cachapín, el chamán Cachapín, que bueno, me pudo rescatar, y por eso fue que yo llegué aquí a los Miami, ¿verdad? Porque me lanzaron de ese barco cuando ese barco se prendía en candela. Ese no es el hecho. El hecho es que, bueno, básicamente con respecto al cumpleaños de señor Yoti, primera vez, verdadita que a mí se me olvida, pero yo hice todo lo posible para compensarlo y yo creo que lo logré gracias a la gran idea que se me ocurrió en ese momento. Porque si no, imagínate, hubiese sido ¿cómo se dirá eso? Voy a preguntarle al chamán Cachapín que me diga cómo se dice esa palabra. Pero bueno, usted me entiende, ¿verdad? Eso es.
Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. Ok, muy bien, ya. Ya conocen a los personajes, ¿verdad? Ya saben que el cumpleañero es Juanpi, ¿verdad? Ahora, ¿quién es Fulanito? ¿Por qué esto se llama el cumpleaños de Fulanito? ¿Quién es este tipo tan buen mozo? Bueno, les digo, a mí me gusta pensar en mí, humildemente, ¿no? Como en un ser, un Dios todopoderoso, que en cualquier momento puedo decir stop y ponerle a los personajes dificultades para que continúen la escena. Ponerles yo o ponerles entre nosotros, ¿ok? Así que estén muy pendientes y escríbanme todas las ideas por el chat. El chat es de ustedes. Escriban todo y lo que yo vaya viendo lo vamos metiendo en la función, ¿ok? So, I'm a God Almighty. I can say stop and we put difficulties to the characters, ¿ok? Además, Fulanito, ¿okay?, tiene el poder de viajar en el tiempo. Yo fui al futuro y ya sé cómo va a terminar la función de hoy. Tengo una foto, no digamos una foto, digamos un screenshot de cómo va a terminar hoy la función. Y aquí está, ¿ok? This is the screenshot, the way that the characters have to end tonight's show, ¿ok? So, I don't know how, but they have to get there, all right? So, damas y caballeros, sin más preámbulos, comencemos con esto. Yo digo cumpleaños de, y ustedes desde su casa gritan Fulanito, ¿ok? Para que empecemos. Muy bien. Y cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Fulanito.
Valeria, mira, listo. Valeria, ya puse las dos primeras. Ahora esto, mira para que vean que no es mentira, mira. Aquí está la primera, ya la puse, ¿verdad? Aquí está la segunda, y ahora mira lo que pasa, ¿eh? Cuando yo voy a poner esta para acá, ¿eh? Entonces se me sale, Valeria, si no puedo, vale, yo no sé qué esta vaina.
Es porque lo estás haciendo mal. Deja la sábana, es más, yo con ese fondo que tienes, puedes poner la sábana por encima dobladita y ya te va a quedar mejor.
Por encima, así. Listo.
Coño, pero no seas
Vale,
animal.
Aquí. Yo necesito la sábana, yo no sabía que vivir solo me iba a tener que tender la cama, chica. ¿Ah?
Pero
Y esto aquí.
Stop. Yo quisiera ver en la imaginación de Juanpi cómo pensaba él que iba a ser vivir solo. I would like to see in the mind of Juanpi how he thought living alone would be. So, cumpleaños de Fulanito. Comida.
Aquí tiene,
Gracias.
señor. La comida del día de hoy es pollo a la plancha, cordón bleu, pizza y lasaña. ¿Qué desea?
Yo quiero alimentarme muy bien, porque bueno, tengo que conservar la figura, así que dámelo todo. Pónmelo ahí en la mesita. Gracias.
Ay, mi amor bello, me encanta
Dándole
cuando
un
comes
masajito de
así.
pies, ¿le parece?
Sí, mi amor, ¿te gusta cuando me pongo así? Mira, si me
Ay,
pongo así,
sí,
mira,
cómete
mira
todo
qué
lo que te
sensual, mira.
pusieron, me encanta.
Viendo lo sensual que soy para ti, ¿verdad? Coño, me encanta esto de vivir solo, ¿vale? Me encanta esto de vivir solo.
¡Stop! Muy bien, volvamos a la realidad, a la escena del presente y cumpleaños de Fulanito.
¿Para qué? ¿Para qué, Valeria? Dime tú, ¿para qué esta sábana? Si es una sábana, ¿por qué tiene liga? ¿En dónde se ha visto que tú le pongas liga a una cama? Mira, ¿sabes qué? Yo no quería hacer esto, ¿verdad? Pero yo sé que tú me has tratado de ayudar. Y yo quería consultarte una cosita, ¿ves, Valeria? Yo haciendo esto.
Dime, pues.
Yo vi por internet vi por internet un cursito de... Valeria, entonces queda entre nosotros, ¿viste? Un cursito de cómo ser ama de casa del siglo XXI. Entonces...
¡Stop! ¡Stop! Ok, veamos ese programa de cómo ser ama de casa del siglo XXI. Let's see that show about being a housewife of the 21st century. Ustedes van a elegir a través del chat qué tipo de presentador va a tener este show. Si va a ser una bella ama de casa, opción A. Opción B, si va a ser un ex futbolista trinitario. ¿Ok? Opción A, una bella ama de casa, hace el show de cómo ser la mejor ama de casa del siglo XXI. Opción B es un ex futbolista trinitario de Trinidad y Tobago. So, option A, beautiful housewife. Option B, ex soccer player of Trinidad y Tobago. Ok, option B, ex soccer player of Trinidad y Tobago. Para ver este programa que vio Juanpi de cómo ser una ama de casa del siglo XXI, cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Aló, your man got to be a housewife. The housewife, you have to clean. What?
Aló, ay, coño, se quedó pegado esto, ¿vale? Coño, este es el internet de mierda otra vez, chico.
When you clean, you burn. You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it. You can do it.
And
You can
that's
do it.
how you clean.
Okay. You can do it, you can do it. That's an ex-soccer player from Trinidad y Tobago with vitiligo. Ahora continuemos con la escena del presente entre Juanpi y Valeria, cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Entonces, Valeria, yo estaba pensando, esto que entre nosotros, ¿no? Yo dije, coño, yo necesito una clase y yo sé que tú me ayudas allá en Venezuela, pero yo necesito, y el instructor decía, tu candúe, como que tú puedes hacerlo, pues, ¿entiendes? Como que tú puedes hacer la vaina esa, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué te parece a ti si yo me meto en ese cursito?
Bueno, yo creo que te iría súper bien, porque en verdad tú eres nefasto como amo de casa, sin ofender. O sea, no quiero como atacarte, porque yo sé que tú eres súper picado, pero de verdad que no lo estás dando.
Nefasto, Valeria. ¿Cómo que nefasto, ah? Yo no soy picado, ¿ok? Y si vamos a hablar de nefasto, tú eres nefasta cocinando, chica, eres nefasta cocinando.
Stop. Ok, Juanpi se está poniendo bravo. Juanpi is getting upset. So, cuando él se pone bravo, ustedes van a decidir qué le pasa. Opción A, empieza a hablar chingo. Opción B, empieza a ser tartamudo. Y eso no lo voy a traducir. Opción A, se pone chingo cuando se empieza a molestar, cuando se empieza a picar. Opción B, tartamudo. Opción tartamudo, chingo. A ver. Ok, va a ser chingo cuando Hampi. Ok, las dos. Va a ser chingo y tartamudo cuando está picado. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Nefasta, chica. Eres nefasta y yo no y te lo digo de verdad, te lo digo, Valeria, porque te digo de corazón. El corazón del. Porque tú sabes que. No, como a la gente en donde yo donde tú tienes dame a tener una llama y tú en mí, ¿verdad?
Mira, lo que escucho son puras estupideces, te escucho. Estupidez.
Stop. Valeria está escuchando solamente estupidez. Y como realmente no lo quiere escuchar, y para complacer a Patricia Torres, veamos cuál es el happy place de Valeria. ¿A dónde se va Valeria? ¿Dónde quiere estar Valeria realmente? No ahí cortando verduras, escuchando el pleito que le arma Juanpi, sino dónde quiere estar realmente en su mente. Cumpleaños de... al mismo tiempo seguimos viendo a Juanpi armando el zaperoco. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Claro. No, siempre, ahí va ni, la niña, no viene, ame,
¡Stop! Volvamos a la realidad, al presente, donde Valeria no está en una hamaca bebiendo alcohol, sino realmente está picando verduras y recibiendo el pleito de Juanpi. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Valeria, ya, Valeria, una otra. Y mira, Valeria, no me en la cama donde alguien no te veo. Valeria.
¡Stop! ¡Stop! Muy bien, muy bien. Le dimos un chance a Valeria de que se terminara su último traguito, pero ahora sí vuelve a la realidad, a la escena del presente. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Mira, yo me voy a calmar. Yo me voy a calmar, Valeria, porque me voy a concentrar en inscribirme en este curso. Y voy a ignorar tus palabras, porque yo no estoy picado. Yo te digo las cosas de corazón, ¿verdad? Nada,
Mira,
yo me voy
tú eres un malagradecido. Yo estoy en una onda sana, en una onda de paz, y lo que tengo todo este rato es tratando de ignorar todos tus regaños y tu maltrato, porque yo estoy aquí tratando de ayudarte a ser una mejor versión de ti mismo. Incluso te dije que está bien que hagas el curso. ¿Qué más quieres de mí? ¿Qué coño quieres de mí? ¿Qué necesitas de mí?
No me ignores, chica, que no me ignores.
Te la envío, te mando un delivery hasta Estados Unidos para que tú entonces agradezcas que yo estoy aquí siempre pendiente de ti. Juanpi.
¿Aló?
Juanpi.
¿Aló, señor Tito?
Me volvió a colgar. Fuck.
Señor Tito. ¿Aló? Señor Tito. ¿Dónde está? ¿Me escucha? ¿Me escucha, señor Tito?
Hola.
Ay, sí. ¿Cómo está, señor Tito?
Estoy aquí tratando de estar relajado, pero esta tumbona es como un poquito incómoda.
Ah, sí. Mire, me lo imagino. Mire, óigame, le tengo... Es que lo estoy llamando porque tengo como un problemita, ¿verdad? Mire, a mí...
Siempre
usted
todo
sabe
el
que
mundo,
a mí me
Tito para
dejaron
acá,
aquí.
Tito para allá. Siempre todo el mundo me llama cuando tengo un problema. ¿Y quién me pregunta de mis problemas? Nadie.
Bueno.
Dime.
¡Stop! ¡Stop! Veamos las últimas 3 veces que alguien le pidió un favor a Tito con sus problemas. No tienen que ser estos personajes, pueden ser otros personajes, pero veamos las últimas 3 veces que Tito pidió ayuda con un problema. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Mira, ¿me puedes dejar pasar, por favor? Que ya te pedí disculpas. ¿Puedes dejarme entrar? Por favor. Que está haciendo frío aquí. ¿Me perdona? No te escucho nada. Por favor, háblame. Háblame. Me siento que me estás ignorando. No, me estás diciendo algo. Háblame, por favor.
Mira, que no te voy a dejar entrar, chico. La última vez que yo dejé entrar a alguien, mira lo que pasó. Y a ti, a menos, a ti es la persona que yo pienso dejar entrar, pero cuando yo esté en el infierno, Andrés. Y sí, te dije Andrés, no Tito. Así que te me vas, chico. Te me vas de la casa. No te quiero aquí.
Ok. No sé exactamente cuál fue el favor que le pidieron, pero continuemos con la escena del día de hoy y cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Mire, que yo le estaba preguntando, que lo estoy llamando ahorita, le pregunto a usted por los problemas, pero resulta, mire, que yo tengo aquí 3 semanas solo desde que la señora se fue, que ha lavado un dinero, ¿verdad? Que yo todavía no entiendo por qué no ha regresado. Pero lo cierto es que yo, como no sabía cómo utilizar las cosas, mire, le voy a mostrar. Ya va, déjeme, ay, ¿cómo volteo la cámara aquí? Aquí está, ¿verdad?
Ahí.
Mire, está viendo esto, ¿verdad? ¿Está viendo esto? Yo hice una pasta. Pero resulta que como no hallaba dónde lavar los interiores y los pantalones negros, yo eché todo eso ahí. Y ahora mire cómo quedó la pasta, ¿ves? Mire. Quedó negra. Y entonces yo trato de sacar, entonces como yo no hallaba dónde secar los pantalones, yo lo metí aquí. Aquí está el pantalón. Pero yo le doy vuelta y vuelta a esto. Y no se secan, está mojado todavía.
Espérate un momentico que no estoy entendiendo una cosita. Tú me estás hablando del lavado de dinero y de pasta, y yo estoy en España, y en España la pasta es dinero. Entonces, quiero saber si está lavando dinero la señora que te llevó para Miami.
Ella me dijo que yo me quedara aquí tranquilo, ¿verdad? Porque por 3 semanas que ella se iba a lavar un dinero. Y entonces yo estoy haciendo pasta. Mire, esto es pasta que se come. Mire, la ve. Mire cómo quedó. ¿Cómo es posible? ¿Cómo es el menester que la pasta haya quedado así después que yo metí el pantalón? Entonces ahora yo no sé si eso yo me lo pueda comer, ¿me entiende? ¿Usted qué piensa? No, ese señor Tito ahora se quedó bloqueado. Mire, con esa cara de bobo. Déjeme llamar a la señora Valeria. ¿Cómo llama a la señora Valeria? Yo tengo por aquí el celular. Espérese un momentico por aquí. Ajá. Ay, se me cayó. ¿Aló? ¿Señora Valeria?
¿Qué pasó? Estoy cocinando, cuéntame.
Estás hablando con Valeria por teléfono. No le vayas a decir lo del lavado de dinero.
Mire que aquí tengo al señor Tito por un video y él me dijo que no le dijera nada sobre un lavado de dinero.
Coño, pero ahí están hechos por los secretos. Juanpi también se quiere meter ahora en un curso de vaina de armas de casa y tampoco quiere que yo le diga nada a nadie. Tú no le vayas a estar diciendo, yo confío en ti, porque el que es pajuda de nosotros es Tito.
Ajá. Usted está escuchando, ¿verdad, señor Tito?
Juanpi
yo creo que
te metió en un curso de ama de casa.
Pero ¿cómo que Tito? Tú acabas de nombrar a Tito, ¿por qué no me
Stop. Veamos en la mente de Tito cómo va a ser Juanpi luego de tomar este curso de ama de casa. Además de ya tener varios meses en Houston, por lo tanto tendrá que hacerlo en inglés. Entonces, ¿cómo es en la mente de Tito Juanpi después de tomar este curso de ama de casa? Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Hola, mis amores. Ahora sí estamos aquí. Bueno, yo les voy a enseñar hoy cómo es que se hace una cocinada. Necesitamos un sartén especial de acero inoxidable. También vamos a buscar por aquí.
Stop, en inglés, continúa en inglés. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
The trap is going down. Okay, it's very important that you have a sealed sartén, and then you need another thing of this. And remember that the best thing that you can do always is you have to sing. Okay?
Stop. En este programa de ama de casa que hace Juanpi después de tomar el curso, hay un invitado. Ustedes van a decir, ¿quién es el invitado? Opción A, el exfutbolista trinitario, opción B, Donald Trump. ¿Ok? A ver, elijan acá por el chat. Opción A, ¿quién es el invitado? El trinitario. Opción B, Donald Trump. ¿Ok? A ver, ajá, A, B. Van. 4. Ganó Donald Trump, señores. Donald Trump entra como invitado al programa de Juanpi de Ama de Casa, cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Yes. And I know one of the things that you have to do is sing. But today we're so happy because we have a guest, a real guest who I love because they give me the green card. We have it via microwave way. Hello. He doesn't answer. He don't answer. Hello. Hello. Well. He's a busy guy. He's a really busy guy. Oh, I guess he's right there he's knocking the door. Let's go.
I'm here.
Open. Oh,
hey, I'm here. How you doing, everybody? I was trying to be just like you, buddy. Okay?
Oh yes. Gallina,
yes.
chicken,
so,
poquito head.
Yes. So, you're gonna teach me some real food, right?
Yeah. What do you need?
Awesome.
First of all, you need to take this. It's a sartén, a steel sartén, okay? My president. and then you take the seal and you put it down. Because if you take it too hard, you're gonna punch someone.
I noticed that you are a little bit nervous. Are you afraid?
What?
Yes. Because I might recognize you from other place. Yeah, your face seems familiar to me, you know?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're trying to.
No, I'm have to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the CIA immediately.
No, don't call the CIA.
Something is pretty wrong
Stop. Esta imaginación de Tito ha llegado demasiado lejos. Volvamos a la escena del presente, donde Tito está hablando con José Gregorio y además escuchó lo que dijo Valeria por la otra conversación. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Bueno, y entonces imagínese usted que eso es todo lo que ella me dijo, por eso es que yo le pregunto.
No, de verdad que yo te voy a decir algo, en la cabeza mía, yo a veces pienso que está loca y que habla mal inglés en la cabeza mía, habla malísimo inglés, eso sí, pero me da demasiada risa las cosas que yo pienso. José Gregorio, que esto sea un secreto para burlarnos de Juan, tú y yo a escondidas, ¿ok? Seguro.
Está bien. Sí,
y
seguro,
ya podemos resolver lo del lavado del dinero. Tranquilo, ¿viste? Calma con
ahora,
eso.
Una pregunta. ¿Usted cree que sea bueno con... Señor Tito, se volvió a quedar pegado.
Ajá.
¿Usted cree que sea bueno comerme esa pasta así? La pasta negra.
Tú eres del campo, tú puedes comer de todo. Te has comido cosas peores, seguro.
Tienes razón. Bueno, nos vemos porque tengo hambre.
Habla. Vale. Juanpi.
Mentiroso.
Juanpi.
Tus ojos.
Juanpi. Juanpi, contéstame el teléfono, Juanpi.
¿Qué está hablando, vale? ¿Aló? ¿Aló?
Juanpi, contéstame el teléfono.
¿Quién es? ¿Quién es?
Juanpi.
Ah, Tito. Tito.
Mira, quería hablar contigo de algo.
¿Y eso que me está llamando?
Es que se rumorea por ahí unas cosas.
Sí, bueno, tú sabes que a mí no me gusta el chisme, Tito, y estoy ocupado ahorita haciendo un negocio importante, invirtiendo en la bolsa, y además estoy hablando con un poco de mujeres y tengo una parrilla más tarde, entonces me llama como un momento ocupado, un momento difícil para mí, ¿ves? Sí.
¿Invirtiendo en cuál bolsa? ¿Invirtiendo en cuál bolsa? La de supermercado, la bolsa de supermercado.
Compré unos pollitos ricos para prepararlo la bolsa de valores, chicos. Tú sabes que los varones hacemos cosas de valores, chicos.
¿Verdad? Juan Pablo.
Nada de eso.
Juan Pablo, dime la verdad, Juan Pablo. Dime la verdad. Yo te conozco desde que teníamos 7 años. Y yo conozco tu mañana secreto como que estás enamorado de Valeria.
Stop. Bueno, lanzaron una información importante. Sin embargo, quiero ver, ya que mencionó Tito, la vez que se conocieron cuando tenían 7 años. ¿Cómo fue? ¿Cómo fue ese día, hace muchos años, donde Tito y Juanpi, siendo unos pequeños chiquillos, se conocieron? ¿Habrá sido en el colegio? ¿Habrá sido en un parque? ¿Habrá sido en un McDonald's? Veámoslo. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Chamo, ¿tú me puedes ayudar a salirme de aquí? Que me metieron empujado.
¿Y a ti quién te metió ahí? Ya te voy a ayudar. A ver, dame la mano. Dame la mano. Dale, agarra. La mano. A la cuenta de 3, te empuja con los pies. 1, 2, 3. Listo.
Ya salí, chamo.
Chamo, tú eres tan grande y eres tan bobo. Mucho gusto. Juan Pablo.
Ya sé, Andrés, pero a mis amigos, si lo estuvieran, me gustaría que me dijeran Tito.
Bueno,
¿Quieres ser mi pana?
Sí, tú puedes ser Tito. Tito, tú sabes jugar del game de que yo no puedo pasar este mundo. ¿Sabes jugarlo?
Ay, a mí me encanta este juego. Podemos ser mejores amigos.
Stop. Ahora veamos el día, unos años más adelante, cuando Juanpi le confesó el secreto a Tito de que le gustaba Valeria, esta bomba que acaban de lanzar. Veamos el día a lo mejor no fue Juanpi que se lo contó, pero veamos cómo Tito se enteró de que Juanpi estaba enamorado de Valeria. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Chamo, gracias por invitarme para la piscina.
Tranquilo, que pasa. Tú eres mi hermano, chico. Tú eres la persona que yo más quiero en la vida. Bueno, exceptuando a Valeria, que yo la amo. Esa es la mujer de mi vida, ¿viste, Tito? Y tú vas a ser padrino de la boda cuando yo me case con esa mujer. Que la amo y la amaré por siempre. Esto se acabó, Tito. Tito, búscame otra. Tito, búscame otra botella, Tito, por favor.
Gracias, chamo. Gracias. Eres mi hermano de sangre.
Stop. obviamente tenía que ser una borrachera. Antes de volver a la escena del presente, veamos solamente rápidamente a Juanpi frente a su computadora decidiendo en qué tipos de inversiones va a poner su dinero en la bolsa. What kind of investments is Juanpi doing in the back? En la bolsa. Ok. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
A ver, entonces, si agarramos, bueno, invertir en la bolsa o invertir en un seguro futuro para Valeria. A ver, vamos a ver qué dice aquí. Dice Forex. Y si buscamos un segurito de salud, bueno, ya lo necesita, ¿no? Vamos a ver qué otro más que buscar. Ajá. Aquí, yo tengo unos carritos. Coño, tú cuadramos como una camionetica, chicos. ¿Qué Valeria? La mujer de mi vida tenía una camioneta. Esa mujer, la camioneta nunca te abandona, Juanpi. Recuerda eso, la camioneta nunca te deja mal. Vamos a empezar a invertir.
Muy bien, stop. Muy bien, ahora continuemos con la escena del presente y cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Entonces, ¿me vas a decir me vas a decir la verdad o no? Que me estoy comenzando a molestar.
Mira, Tito, tú hablas con Valeria, chico. ¿Ah?
No.
Eso, ¿verdad?
No, porque...
Es que...
No.
Valeria. No, Aiguana. No. Y nos vemos en la reunión. Ahora nos vemos. Yo mataba a Valeria en la niña me queda buena. ¡Puñeta!
Esta gente está malísimo. Voy a llamar a Valeria.
Tito.
¡Mierda! ¿Qué te pasa a ti en la cara?
No sé. No tengo idea.
Te ves horrible.
Gracias, estúpido.
No. Stop. Veamos rápidamente las opciones que pasan por la cabeza de Tito, de cómo pudo haberse puesto así la cara de Valeria. Muy rápidamente, cómo Valeria obtuvo ese enrojecimiento en su cara según la imaginación de Tito. How Valeria get that red face in the Tito's imagination. Before we get to the cumpleaños, to this screenshot, we are close to it. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Become so not make you feel you there. I become so much more aware. I'm becoming it. All I want to do is be more like that and be less like you. Become so numb. I become so numb.
Okay, stop. Vamos a parar antes de que a Valeria le dé un patatús y continuemos con la escena del presente para que veamos la verdadera razón de por qué Valeria tiene la cara roja. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Estás horrible. O sea, yo me estoy imaginando cosas, pero la verdad hoy mi imaginación está como un poquito rara. Yo no sé qué me está pasando. Estaba escuchando
algo que comí. Estoy haciendo un detox y me preparé un almuerzo súper saludable y la vaina me cayó malísimo, pero solamente en la cara.
Tienes que, yo creo que lo mejor es que te laves las manos. Mira, una preguntita, que algo, me enteré de algo, Juanpi, que me molestó que no me lo haya dicho, pero hay algo más importante que hablé ahorita con él y me dijo, nos vemos más tarde para la reunión. Y yo no sabía que hoy teníamos reunión.
No, y no tenemos ninguna reunión, se volvió loco. Yo igual estoy molesta con él.
Sí,
¿Sabes
¿no?
que Juanpi, cuando le da la gana, nos trata mal? Y yo ya me harté de su mala actitud.
Sí, Juanpi es muy mala actitud. Yo también siempre lo digo. Él siempre tiene muchísima mala actitud, sobre todo cuando guarda los secretos. Yo soy una buena persona guardando secretos. Yo no le he dicho a nadie que tú usas relleno en el brasier para que se te vean más tetas. Esas cosas yo no se las digo a nadie.
Yo sé, yo
estoy
clara.
Eres súper. Escúchame algo, voy a llamar a José Gregorio porque tiene un problema y creo que tú y yo lo podemos ayudar, ¿ok? Así que espérate ahí, lo llamamos.
¿En serio? ¿Me vas a dejar con este ardor en la cara?
José Gregorio tiene problemas más importantes. Tú no dices que lo importante es el interior y tu proceso budista interno.
¿Aló?
La cara no importa.
¿Aló?
José Gregorio.
Ajá.
Valeria está un poquito fea, más de lo normal. Y probablemente se sienta incómoda.
No puede ser.
Ya creo que solución.
Yo estoy aquí ahorita en la computadora. Qué bueno que me llama porque yo me quedé pensando en eso que usted me dijo, que lo del lavado del dinero. Entonces, yo estoy buscando aquí en la computadora, ¿verdad? Pero como no se lee ni escribir, entonces se me hace un poquito difícil. ¿Me entiende? Entonces, yo estoy buscando.
Si quieres, yo te ayudo.
Entonces, yo estoy buscando aquí. Yo estoy buscando.
Mira, escúchame algo. Una preguntita. ¿Tú sabes si Juanpi hizo planes contigo para una llamada por Zoom?
No, yo no he hablado con él. Que yo me acuerde, yo no he hablado con él. ¿Por qué? ¿Qué será que pasó hoy?
No sé, yo tampoco sé, porque él me dijo hace rato que yo lo llamé y
¡Stop! Muy bien. Estamos a punto de llegar al cumpleaños, pero sus amigos no se han acordado del cumpleaños. Sin embargo, ustedes a través del chat van a proponer quién va a resolver este problema. Díganme un personaje, o dígame el nombre y qué tipo de persona es, como José el arrendador, el exfutbolista Pedro Trinitario. Escríbanme lo que ustedes quieran y ese personaje va a tener que entrar y va a tener que resolver este problema e informarle a los chicos que es el cumpleaños de Juanpi, ¿ok? El ex de Valeria, ponen por acá, Valeria la rockera también va a estar en la conversación, necesitamos que sea alguien externo, a ver, ¿quién más ponen por acá? La señora que lava dinero, perfecto, la señora, creo que se llama la señora Carmen, que es la señora que llevó a José Gregorio a Miami, desde Chupadero, Estado Guárico, hasta Miami. Ahora, la señora Carmen de alguna manera tiene que entrar en esta escena y recordarles a los chicos que es el cumpleaños de Juanpi. So, Mrs. Carmen have to get in the scene and tell the guys that today is Juanpi's birthday. Cumpleaños de Fulanito.
Entonces yo estoy aquí buscando, ¿verdad? Porque yo de verdad que no me acuerdo comprar bolsa.
Pero
yo no me acuerdo.
Mira,
mira, aquí estoy viendo unos videos de cómo lavado del dinero, pero de verdad que no sé.
No busques eso.
Ya va, que están tocando la puerta. Escucha. Pero qué raro, porque primera vez no voy.
Gregorio, José Gregorio, ábreme la puerta, por favor, mi amor.
Sí, ya, espera un momento aquí. Ajá,
José Gregorio.
¿Quién es?
¿Cómo que quién es, chica? ¿Cómo que quién es? ¿Quién te trajo para este país? ¿Ah? ¿Quién te está dando una vida digna? Ábreme la puerta, que se me quedaron las llaves en el carro, chico.
esa es la señora Carmen. Sí, un momento, Carmen, no se preocupe. Ya le voy a abrir la puerta. Déjeme abrir la puerta.
Mira, mi amor, ¿hasta cuándo me vas a tener afuera?
Paso adelante, paso adelante. Ajá.
Mira. Ay, qué raro que tú estés aquí. Tú no me dijiste que tenías algo que hacer hoy. Yo te dije que quería ir a comer camarones después de hacer el lavado y tú me dijiste que no. Tú no tenías una reunión, un cumpleaños tal, Sanchi, Tanti, ¿cómo se llame eso de tus amigos?
Juanpi.
Sí.
Señora Carmen, usted está diciendo que hoy es el cumpleaños del señor Tito.
No, esto no lo digo yo, esto me lo dijiste tú hace días.
Se lo dije yo. Ay,
sí, me dijiste, yo te dije, quiero ir a comer contigo el sábado. Y tú me dijiste, no puedo ir porque el cumpleaños es el señor Otanzi.
Ah, sí, tiene toda la razón. Mira, una pregunta, ¿por qué tiene ese trapo en la cabeza? ¿Tiene los hinchados otra vez?
Ay, mi amor, porque me estoy pintando el cabello y este es el último tratamiento para esconderse de las...
Usted se está
Mira, paso
¿verdad?
por dos cositas. La primera era para recordarte que no vamos a poder ir. Y la segunda, que me voy a desaparecer como unos 3, 4 mesecitos, ¿oíste? Tú te quedas encargado de la casa, tranquilo, tú confía. Cada semanita te va a llegar una encomienda, ¿sí? Nos vemos, me cuidas la casa, mi amor. Chao.
Chao, pues está bien. Chao, adiós. Señor Tito.
Espera, que hay que llamar a Valeria, que es el cumpleaños de Juanpi y ninguno se acordó.
Yo no me acordaba de eso. Llámela ahorita mismo. ¿Qué se me puede ocurrir? ¿Alguna idea se me puede ocurrir para decir?
Escucha. Valeria.
Yo te estoy escuchando, lo que estoy tratando de solucionar el problema de mi cara que tú...
No importa. Escúchame, el cumpleaños de Juanpi.
¿Cómo que el cumpleaños de Juanpi?
El cumpleaños de Juanpi, Valeria, mi cumpleaños.
¡Feliz cumpleaños!
Miren, para la próxima, cuando se pongan a hablar por Zoom, eviten utilizar mi cuenta, porque ustedes abren la cuenta y yo me meto cuando me dé la gana. Claro que es mi cumpleaños, yo siempre organizando los cumpleaños y este pendejo nadie se acuerda, ¿verdad? Pero ¿saben qué? Yo no me voy a molestar.
Yo sí me acordaba. Era una broma. ¡Sorpresa!
¡Sorpresa!
Valeria parece una pitufa. Mire, ¿sabe qué? Yo no me voy a molestar, chico, porque estoy orgulloso. Miren qué bella me quedó la cama. Mira, Valeria. ¿Está bien?
Un repase de su libro, un book review, para platicar con ustedes las cosas que más me ayudaron del libro. Me acuerdo de algo que está resonando conmigo mucho, es de que ella habla de que muchas veces las personas que tienen un hogar muy desorganizado es porque una se agobia de todo lo que tienen que hacer, pero también es de que piensan que si no...
Era la computadora.
¿Tú estás viendo el programa de cómo ser una mejor ama de casa ahorita?
No, mira que ella me quedó la cama. Ay, ¿qué es eso?
No, bonita.
¡Una araña! ¡Su
That's right, people. We get to the end of the show. That's right. Gracias por venir. El cumpleaños de Fulanito. Ahí está la foto. Ahí llegaron los actores. This is a screenshot. This is the way the end. So we made it. ¡Vámonos! Okay. So you can clap from your house. Aplaudan desde casa. Quiten los micrófonos si quieren, aplaudan desde casa. Muy bien. Damas y caballeros, esto fue el cumpleaños de Fulanito. Gracias. Vámonos. Ahí va. Recuerden que cada función es distinta. Ustedes eligen el cumpleañero, ustedes eligen las cosas que pasan, que los muchachos dicen, las dificultades que les ponemos. Así que vengan para la próxima función. Si nos quieren seguir por las redes para saber cuándo es la próxima función, @CumpleFulanito en Instagram. Ahora sí, quiten el muteo de sus micrófonos para que vamos a darle también muchísimas gracias a la gente de Extreme Improv. Thank you for the invitation. You are the best guys. I hope you have fun, you understand something. I don't know, I hope you enjoyed it. Muchísimas gracias a David Putansky, ¿ok? Que no tiene nada que ver con el acorazado Potensky, ¿ok? Y vamos ahora a aplaudirle a los actores. Quiten el muteo de su micrófono y les presento a Juanpi, que hizo a Yoti. Un aplauso para él, por favor. Yeah. Aplauso para Tito, que hizo Angelo. Tito, aplauso. Ok, gracias por ese grito. Tenemos a Valeria, que es Janina.
¡Janina, te amo!
Nuestro querido José Gregorio, que lo hizo Juan Bautista. Y su querido servidor Fulanito, Juan Andrés Belgrave. Muchísimas gracias por estar acá. Thank you guys for coming. Good night. Take care.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. That was brilliant. I didn't understand everything, but it looked absolutely wild. So I hope everyone else out there, if you speak some Spanish, then you'll have understood that a lot more than me. But just the stuff with the camera angles, the creativity, the sound effects, that was a wild show. It was a marvel to see. So, and also it's just another part of how truly international this festival has been. So we've had performers from all over the world, a Spanish language improv show as part of the festival. I feel truly blessed to have been able to have that and celebrate that birthday party with all those guys. And hopefully we'll have Daniel and any of those other guys onto an Extreme Improv show again soon. If anyone remembers, way back at the start of the month we had Daniel on the show and he was providing music to one of our regular weekly shows. Wow, so following that, everyone, what else do we have coming up this week? So tomorrow is our traditional slightly Tuesday off. There might be something sneaking into our schedule though tomorrow, so we'll see. I'll try and do at least one update because I think I'm starting to feel the withdrawals from not streaming, enough. If you didn't see me enough throughout the 12 hours yesterday or earlier on the podcast, I just want to thank everyone from the podcast Improv and Me show that we did earlier tonight. I truly feel really bad and guilty that we did have to bring it to what felt like a slightly abrupt ending, just because obviously we had a schedule to keep and we had to get these guys their due slot. But I promise you we'll have another one. We have loads of podcasts from Extreme Improv, and we've often touched on the theme of the benefits, the positive benefits in terms of well-being and mental health of performing improvised theatre, or even if you just do it as a fun activity with friends. Improv is an incredibly beneficial thing that I fully believe in. So do check out any of the other Extreme Improv podcasts. Usually it'll be the Extreme Improv podcast or Extreme Improv chat show where we'll touch on such subjects. But we'll try to arrange another round table again very soon. Just to give you a little bit of a preview of what else we've got coming up in the festival for the rest of the week. Because it is, somehow we are on the last leg of the week of the festival. I know, it seems unbelievable at this stage. Just having a quick look actually in the comments. Now, I don't know how to speak much Spanish or any, but I know the word sí. But also I see here, because I did have a friend who spoke Spanish, like as their native language, and I see here where it says like J-A, 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 it's like ha 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 ha. as we'd write HH. Oh, guys, are you still in the background?
Yes.
Come back, come back. I didn't realise. I thought you'd disappeared. Oh, yeah, of course you are. Look, see, I've got the chat box open. I didn't see you guys. Come say hello for a minute. Hello, how you doing? Hello, guys. That was incredible. I thought you'd literally all disappeared on me. You're still here. That was great fun.
Thank you for the opportunity, man.
No, it was brilliant. And when Daniel pitched it to me and said it's all in Spanish, I was like, that sounds amazing. And gosh, the stuff you did on the screen, like I think you're on a virtual background, but so many others are just like all over the place. It's really fun stuff. Brilliant concept for the show. Really good. I can truthfully say, even though I don't speak the language, it was the most visually engaging show I've seen, and perhaps because I had to watch it extra hard to gauge it, but it's like really wild show. You're doing some incredible stuff. Zoom improv.
Pretty funny because in the rehearsals we start doing improv like we regularly do. You know, like doing a bottle cam that is invisible. You know, and suddenly we realize we have everything in the house.
Yes.
So we can use everything. So we have to do the I don't know how to say, to translate all the
props. Language. Yeah, you know, you've got actual things around you. So, like I say that, and I've got nothing around, but like I can grab a hat if I need a hat. You know. So, no, that was really cool. That was very good stuff. So guys, you did say also something else. You had like an end credit sequence, and I was like, why have I never made end credits? That's something so obvious. It's brilliant. I was like, because when you're like, that's the end of the show, I was like, right, here I come, and he's like, oh no, credits roll. Brilliant idea.
Well, we have a nice guy. The best one is Daniel, the producer. I mean, yeah, we all work together, but he's the best. I don't know if he's still here. But yes, he's crazy. He's the biggest mind behind all the stuff of the visual stuff.
No, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So we had Daniel on the show a few weeks ago, and you were like doing the improvised music with the guitar. So yeah, good guy. You know, really appreciate that. Oh, nice. It says someone's just coming back in. Has someone seen? Is this one of your guys?
Probably. She's not.
Is it a random person?
I don't know who is.
Okay, maybe it was a random person joining. Hopefully we won't get an invader. But no, congratulations. Guys, just remind us again, since we're here. Normally I'll bring people back on the end, just to say, I know you did all of this in your wrap-up, but where can anyone find you? What other shows have you got coming up?
Okay, you can find us. Yeah, okay.
All yours.
You can find us on the social media in Instagram, like at Cumplea Fulanito.
Yeah.
So we post there all the information about next shows and everything. We have until so far only one, and this is the second one. So we hope we have another one maybe in a month or something.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Oh, there you go. You've got it on the screen. I was going to say I was going to share it, but I still can share it. But there you go. So, yeah. That's brilliant. I won't try to pronounce it. I admire, like in England, we just have very short words. That's all I can deal with.
Yeah, even though we have only two like online shows, we've been doing this show for more than 5 years in Venezuela in a real theater. So the beautiful thing of this process is how we can integrate the technological part of the new normal to our show. So it basically started with a picture that we take as like we moved around like as an actors on stage, and we take a like fake picture. But here in this process, we could actually take that picture and show to everyone how it's gonna be ending. We don't know how we're gonna end in that position and form that like kind of composition, but it was great, like the whole path of exploring through this month of quarantine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so here's a question I've asked a bunch of people who have done shows. When the world comes back to normal, touch wood, fingers crossed, do you think you'll still do more like on Zoom streaming shows? Because loads of people have been found that you can do cool things that you can't do in real life.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, we're willing to integrate the platform with an actual theater experience, because otherwise we haven't learned anything if we don't change our perspective of how theater is going to develop. It's useless, everything that we're doing so far, like you guys doing an online extreme worldwide championship of improv. So
Yeah.
this is the only way that we have to reach a lot of people around the world. So if we go back to normality, we will be reduced and just
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a theater is quite an experience, but the technology bring bring to the table a lot of opportunities that we don't actually have.
If you ask us, if you ask us 6 months ago, if you are going to do, if you tell us 6 months ago you are going to do theater on Zoom's meetings, I would say get out of here.
Yeah.
But now that we have the necessity, we have to find a way, and I think of course you cannot do the same theater you do on the stage, but you have to use all these tools in your favor.
Yeah, and that's one.
And also, we are in different countries. All of us are in different countries.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so each of you,
where
are you? Where are you, each of you?
Mexico.
Caracas, Venezuela.
Oh, hang on. So Venezuela, Mexico.
Miami. I am in Miami, Florida.
Miami. Sorry, I missed one. So we've got Mexico.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. So the United States, Mexico, Venezuela.
And Spain.
I'm in Spain with Madrid.
That's incredible. That's amazing.
One of the things that happened here, I mean, this platform already exists, before the quarantine. And one of the things that happened, and I found attractive, and I think all of us find attractive, is that as an improv, you have to use whatever you have. If you don't have anything, you just do it,
Yeah.
And in this situation, that was what we just did. We used what we have. Okay, what do we have? Okay, we have this platform, and we have, I don't know, our place, and we have the connection. So let's play with that, and that's part of the improv. As an improviser, we do that in real life, when we are in a theater, we play with whatever we have around us. And that's one of the things that for me, is the most attractive thing about this, because before quarantine, as Fulanito say, we never thought about this, but they're here. I mean, the platform already exists. And now that we're taste and we are in a new era, I mean, yeah, hopefully the quarantine is going to be ended soon, but this is fun. This is a new thing, And
yeah,
the
absolutely.
thing has always been there, but we never use it. And now that we taste, and now that we are here, I think we're not gonna let it go at all.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree. Just being able to do this, and being able to just the fact that we're all speaking and we're all in these different countries, and we're all doing this, and we all love improv. It's going to bring it to so many more people than we could have ever have done, literally just on the stage. And then when we are able to do things on the stage, it's just going to mean that we can do these shows, and it's going to bring us new audiences. And like you say, we're going to be able to integrate this into stage shows. I have been planning that when we're back on stage, we will have a computer and a camera, and we will be taking suggestions from people around the world.
Awesome.
Okay, so I just need to acknowledge, we've just had Angelo join us. Where is Angelo?
Yeah, he's one of our actors.
Yeah, no, but where in the world? Just
Oh, he's in Spain.
okay, I wondered if we had another country. Amazing
I
stuff.
actually live in Madrid, but at the moment I'm backpacking. At the moment, I'm traveling. So you can take a look at my backpack.
Oh, amazing. So where are you at the moment?
I'm in a little city near the beach. It's called Santes. It's up north, Spain.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, guys, this was fantastic, and I love that we had this little improvised chat on the end of things there. Right, guys, I will let you get on with your day now, and we will wrap up this show for the evening. But thank you so much. It'd be great. Any of guys, if you haven't done so, I'm not like I've got you guys on like the Instagram at least. I'm not sure other things. Connect with me. Find Extreme Improv XStreamed. It's a group on Facebook. You know, you're all very welcome to come on our shows. We're going to do like another festival thing where we'll do other things later in the year, and we'll do more every year. But yeah, it'd be great to connect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Okay, guys. All right. Bye for now, guys. So, bye. Thanks so much. So that was a little bit of an unexpected surprise at the end. I thought I was that they'd wrapped and they were gone, but it was that the chat window was blocking the view of the other participants on the call. Wow, I don't know what I was talking about before. I was saying that they're getting lots of fun things in the comments, which is amazing. We've got lots of other shows coming up. I will just give the shout out, guys. We have coming up on Wednesday, we've got, what have we got? What date is that? So we're going to have the NIC show, which is long form improv in thread. And then we're going to have Timothy Williams, who was on the Histrionics the other day, doing his show, A Wizard Did It. So some wizarding antics there. Wednesday night, we're going to have our traditional Extreme Improv XStreamed show at 8:30 p.m. These are in UK times, of course. And because, like, literally right now, we had said about having a jam, but my bad, 12-hour stream yesterday, I forgot to ask for any performers. So we will do the jam on Wednesday after the usual Extreme show. So that'll probably be about 10:30, a late night jam. And then Thursday, we're going to have Improv. Okay, I always say this wrong. The other day when Sarah was on the show, I almost called it Improbiotics, but it's Improbotics, like robotics, Improbotics. Improbiotics, that sounds like a medicine, doesn't it? That is the medicine I think we all need, Improbiotics. But do not miss the artificial intelligence of Improbotics, where they actually do improv with a robot, and that will be on at 8 p.m. for 1 hour. On Thursday the 27th, followed by a slightly later than normal XStreamed Thursday night show. Then we're going to have Donut Sunday on at 11. Friday, we're going to have our Friday matinee back for the first time in a couple of weeks. Imagine that. We're going to have our Friday matinee at 12 p.m. UK time. And on Friday we have a workshop with Elkie Reed, and tickets going quickly for that one. So if you want to get a ticket to Elkie's workshop, which is in character development and sustaining your character, do go to www.extremeimprov.co.uk and sign up for there quite quickly. And then we're going to have another, yes, backed by popular demand, Revenge of the Werewolf show at 8 p.m. on Friday. So check that out. Revenge of the Werewolf is our new Extreme Improv show, where it's a blend of short form with long form with the game Werewolf. So one of the performers is a werewolf, and you have to help us in this very interactive show identify who the werewolf is. On Saturday 29th, we're going to have a workshop by Dina Mild, and then we're going to have a show from her group as well. Haven't got the name in front of me. And then we're going to have Improv, who've got a pre-recorded show, then followed by the professionals. Then we're going to have some stand-up, and then we might have a couple of surprises. In fact, I'm going to announce one of the surprises just to wrap us up for the end of the month. There will be, and you'll find out more on this soon, the most epic monologue of all time. the most epic monologue of all time. How can I make such a claim? You'll find out everything that is behind that claim when we come to the end of the week. Look out for details on that. So, for now, if you want to support Extreme Improv, the main thing I can say is go over to www.youtube.com/Extreme Improv and click that subscribe button. It'll only take you about 10 seconds. Anyone can do it. If they've got like a Gmail account or a YouTube account, it'll only take you 10 seconds. We're trying to grow the channel there just so more people can find the show, give suggestions. If you are a performer and would like to get involved with shows, just join the Extreme Improv XStreamed Facebook group. And let's leave it at that for now. There's so many things to plug. Thanks, guys. It's been a great night, and I will see you again